We have a potential terror attack that happened over the weekend, the Daily Beast explains here. The FBI announced it is searching for Ahmad Khan Rahami, 28 years old, of New Jersey, in connection with the bombing in Manhattan on Saturday night, as well as the one in Seaside Park, New Jersey, earlier that day. Agents executed a search warrant in the city of Elizabeth, where Rahami is believed to be living. Rahami was born in Afghanistan in 1988 and is a U.S. citizen and, quote, should be considered armed and dangerous, the FBI said in a bulletin. Rahami was announced as a person of interest hours after pipe bombs were found in a garbage can near a train station in Elizabeth on Sunday night. On Saturday morning, a pipe bomb in a trash can in Seaside Park exploded along the route of a Marine Corps 5K charity run. That evening, one pressure cooker bomb exploded in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood, injuring 29 people. A second pressure cooker device was found unexploded 5 blocks away. Now, also at the same time, quote, ISIS claims credit for a knife attack that wounded 9 people at a Minnesota mall. The terrorist group called the attacker Dahir A. Adan, a Somali immigrant to the United States, a soldier of the Islamic State, through its Amaq propaganda channel. So, I have a lot of thoughts on this. First of all, let's discuss the obvious. You can insert my anti-ISIS rant here that you've heard roughly 9,312 other times. These are Islamic fundamentalists. These are literalists. These people have beliefs that are anathema to Western civilization and to human rights in general. So fuck them with a trillion demon dicks from hell. Let's be on the record with that very clearly. The thought that I can't get out of my head right now, though, is we almost had like a little experiment here with the media. So at first you had Governor Cuomo in New York say, this was an intentional action, but it doesn't appear to be linked to terrorism. I think that was the first position from the New York state government and from just the government in general. So when that news came out, I cannot adequately describe to you how little interest was in the incident. People went from, maybe it's terrorism, to, oh, it's not? Anyway, what's for dinner? Can I have a ham sandwich? Do you have ham? I'd really like some ham. So there was just the interest in the story and the caring about the victims and everything. It just drained from everybody. The media was like, okay, anyway, moving on. Now, so I wake up today, this morning. Now, we have more information on the potential person who did it. It appears to be a Muslim dude, and it appears like maybe it's ISIS-related. Boom, all of a sudden now it went from being more out of the news to it's in the news and let's talk about it and let's now wall-to-wall coverage. They're not discussing anything else. There's nothing else. CNN, breaking news, oh my God, they think it's linked to terrorism, yada, yada. The same with the stabbing that happened as well in, I think it was Minnesota, like I said. Yes, Minnesota. They learned pretty quickly that may have been more ISIS-related, or because I think ISIS took credit for it. So then they quickly jump back on that story. Oh my God, ISIS. But with the pipe bombs, it was, no, we don't think it's terrorism. Okay, nobody cares. Wait, maybe it is. Okay, now I care again. So that led to then Trump also this morning coming out there and saying, again with a fucking victory lap, I told you so. I told you so. Oh, okay. Let me explain something to you. Maybe we need to do racial profiling. Maybe that's what we need to do. And, it's crazy. We can't even, if somebody looks like they have a bomb strapped, then we can't even say anything because of political correctness. What? I'm pretty sure if somebody looks like they have a bomb attached to them, that's not fucking racial profiling. That's, you have a bomb, and you can fucking talk about it. But he goes on, he links it to a broader point. No, racial profiling. Let's do racial profiling. Maybe that's the way to go. We have people who look a certain way. Maybe we should look into them. Okay, but stop and think about the sample bias that's just screaming through the coverage here. When people thought it's just a criminal, aka maybe a white dude, they want to move along, nobody discuss it. Would Donald Trump be talking about it on TV if it was just the pipe bombs were just run-of-the-mill criminal who was being an ass? Would he be talking about it? The pipe bombs from random criminals. Let's discuss this at length. He wouldn't be doing it. But he does do it when he thinks, it's linked to terrorism and it's a Muslim dude. So if you're not going to focus on policy solutions and you're not going to focus on potential ways to address the problem if it's not the other, why do you do it when it is the other? Well, the answer is simple. When it's the other, you've set yourself up to demonize, to otherize, to generalize, to come up with horrific solutions like let's fucking do profiling. You know what? Let me be extra kind. So for anybody who out there who says, well, we should fucking profile. We should racially profile or profile Muslims. And then they say, well, anybody could be a Muslim. So, I don't just mean people who look like they're from the Middle East, but, anybody who could conceivably be a Muslim, basically. Okay, let's use that line of reasoning. You're in favor of profiling. Got it. I can grant you that. I don't agree with it, but I can grant you that if you're intellectually consistent enough to say, profile the person we think is Muslim going on the airplane, profile the black dude in the inner city, profile the white dude in the mall and the movie theater. Statistics are statistics. Yes, when it comes specifically to religious terrorism, it's much more likely to be Islam. Yes, when it comes to inner city violence, it's much more likely to be black than white. Yes, when it comes to mass shootings in movie theaters and in malls, much more likely to be a white dude. So are you in favor of profiling? Okay, now are you in favor of it in all those instances? See, but that's the point. The point is with a guy like Donald Trump and with most of these people who would scream that they're not bigots, when you bring up that point, they scoff and they mock and they laugh and they say, I'm not talking about profiling people like me, white people. Well, okay, but then you're proving your sample bias. Because the same act could have happened and been a run-of-the-mill criminal. And when you thought it was just a criminal, you had nothing to say about it. Nothing. Then when you think it's a Muslim, okay, now we're going to talk about it, right? Now we're going to go on and on and on and on and on. They only want to focus on it when it's the group that they already want to blame based on their ideology. You know that's true. Because if that wasn't true, there wouldn't have been the discrepancy in coverage. How many, seriously, if the stabbing was not an ISIS stabbing, it might not have made national news, period. You want to know why? Because when it's a stabbing, people go, oh, at least it wasn't a shooting, thank God. And people go, oh, how many people died? Oh, nobody died. Why are we even discussing it? You know that's true. But when it's ISIS, okay, now we can talk about it and fucking fearmonger and go crazy and go nuts. It's gotten to the point where if there's a shooting, run-of-the-mill shooting, and one person dies or two people die or whatever, barely makes news. But a stabbing where nobody died did make news because it potentially is ISIS. Well, if you actually just care about the victims and the death toll, that makes no sense. It only makes sense through the prism and the realm of I care about it when it's the other, because then I get to demonize and then I get to talk about that. When you talk about it and it's somebody who looks like me, or it's not the group I want to be against, well, then I have nothing to say about it and I'm not going to discuss it. And this is why with over 30 gun deaths every single day, most of them don't make national news. They don't make national news. So we're very selective in our outrage. We're very selective in our concern. You can absolutely, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying it's not the case that when there's religious violence specifically, it's much more likely to be from Islam. I agree with that completely. It is also true, though, that most Muslims are not violent. So there is disproportionate religious violence from Islam, and also most people who say they're Muslim and believe in Islam don't do violence. And this is one of the main reasons, is something that Donald Trump will never get through his thick head, why profiling makes no sense. Yes, white boys are more likely statistically to do mass shootings, but most white boys will never do a mass shooting. Yes, inner city crime is most likely done by black males, but most black males are never going to be criminals. Both things are true. So to create policy and go after a whole group because of a disproportionate number, but a small number within that group does X, Y, or Z, that's not a logical response.